giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Oh yeah. Coming up today, Jayron Kearse joined 105.3 The Fan, and he talked about his season. He talked about his future. He touched on Dan Quinn and his future. So we'll dissect that a little bit, and then we'll jump into potential free agent replacements if the Cowboys, for whatever reason, aren't able to bring back Jayron Kearse. But we're going to dive into his entire season here on today's show, as well as later on after the show is over. Not necessarily over, stick around, but later today on the channel, we'll have a special guest that will break down Jayron Kearse as well. All right. In the roundup, we got some former Dallas Cowboys news that we'll touch on, so y'all stick around for that too. All right. Appreciate you guys jumping up in here early this morning. Should have a good show today. I'll try not to keep y'all too long because I do have to get to that potential special guest later on in the early morning, I should say. Later on in the later morning, actually. So y'all make sure y'all stick around. We'll try to get through this thing as smooth as possible, but I like to put together these type of shows because we're going to feature Jayron, but we're also going to talk about a few free agents that could come in and maybe fit the, what do we call it? Cat boy criteria. I think these guys, though, at least two of the three, I think could really come in and have some type of impact. But we'll get to that part of the show later. Let me tell you something, though. I got to get used to this Texas, these weather precautions or protocols or whatever. They shutting down everything down there. You know? They shutting down school. They shutting down work because they might get an inch or two in a possible. If you play spades, you know what I'm talking about? It's so weird, man. You know, I'm getting these notifications on my phone. Hey, North Texas is about to be shut down. Schools are closing and delayed. There's nothing outside right now. And coming from Pennsylvania, this is so weird to me because I remember specifically walking through feet of snow in Edinburgh to get to class. Feet of snow. I remember standing at the bus station, throwing snowballs, hitting people in the face, throwing them at the bus. They won't even let these kids go to school now if it's raining. It's weird, man. It's really, really weird. But again, I got to get used to a lot of Texas stuff. And that is, for real, that is one of the number one things, the weather. It was like 83 degrees 2 days ago. And then today it's supposed to be snowing. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I like it, though, because it's not too bad. The winters are cool. But, geez, man. The precautions down here are different. And I had to understand that, all right, I get it. They don't have the equipment that PA does and things like that. So I'm coming to that conclusion that things are just going to be different, and you just got to get used to it, Sky. Got to get used to it. All right, man, some shout-outs in order. Joshua Sully, CJ Richards in the building, Broderick Whaley, Professor O, what's going on, brother? G Garcia. Oh, by the way, Professor O, that did go through. The media thing did go through, so I'll rap to you later today about that. Oscar Sullivan, James Simmons, Anthony Moore, Sean Moyer, Nisi, Derek Fisher, Lance Bell over on Facebook, CJ Richards, D.A. Lee, Chuck P, those are Facebook. And let's get over here on YouTube, TC915, TC on the drums. Okay, we got two TCs in the building. Adam Mack, Matt Goddix, Captain America. Salute to you, sir, for being up in here. Jose Banks coming through. So, yeah, appreciate you guys joining us this morning. TC said, we ain't used to cold here in Texas, brother. You y'all might not be used to it, but last year y'all had something that we didn't even really have up in Pennsylvania, and that was it 2 years ago, and that was that crazy storm. So I kind of dodged that, fortunately, but I hope everybody is okay from that storm. I understood it was pretty crazy. But all right, let's jump into this roundup real quick because, like I said, we do have to kind of smooth through this show so I can end it at an appropriate time and then prep for the potential guests later on today. So y'all stick around for this roundup.
Look at them, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness, a solution for your fitness goals. Whether it be for weight loss, strengthening up, toning up, sports, or stress relief, Texas Family Fitness has everything you need. Fitness goals are not accomplished. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. Hit up any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. First up on the roundup docket, you guys remember Anthony Hitchens, right? Of course you remember Anthony Hitchens. He had a really good career here in Dallas. Cowboys didn't want to sign him to what I thought he deserved. Go get your bag. So the Chiefs did. Anthony Hitchens went on to win the Super Bowl with the Chiefs in 2019. But they drafted Nick Bolton last year. Anthony Hitchens is up there in age. I believe he's like 30, 31. So they're rolling with the young buck, right? They're rolling with the young buck. They saved $8.4 million on the cap by making Anthony Hitchens arguably the first cap casualty of the offseason. For those that I guess were paying attention to the Chiefs, I think this was kind of expected, right? You brought in Nick Bolton, who's a stud. He helped pave the way for Nick Bolton. If I'm not mistaken, I heard Nick Bolton talk about his leadership, credited Anthony Hitchens, and I would imagine so, right? He's been in the league for a little bit here, 2 different teams, 2 different organizations, and won a Super Bowl. 80 tackles last year, an interception in 15 games. So obviously, the question becomes, as it always does, with players that are released, especially former Cowboy players, would you welcome back Anthony Hitchens on the team? Specifically into a linebacker room that is pretty shallow right now, especially with veterans. In fact, there are 0 veterans unless you count second-year players as veterans, right? So that is the legitimate question. And y'all know me. There is a standard, I think. There is a blueprint of what Dan Quinn wants at the linebacker position. I don't know that Hitch is that guy anymore. You know what I mean? He's up there in age. I wouldn't consider him, a superior athlete. I would consider him a guy that can cover like that. But I still think he's a ball player. This is a tough one for me because I liked Anthony Hitchens when he was here. I think this linebacker room could use a veteran. Last year, I was lobbying for KJ Wright, so I won't be a hypocrite and not lobby for another veteran like guy like an Anthony Hitchens. So I'm a bit torn on this one. What y'all talking about here? Professor O says no. Mike says he's serviceable. Wayne on Facebook says, nope, go young and fast at linebacker. That's how I'm feeling. Isn't he like 5'5"? He ain't that small, man. He ain't that small. Wayne said, Kearse definitely to be on this team. Okay, so you're talking about Jayron. Yeah, we'll get to Jayron in a second, brother. CJ, Sky, are you going to be live with a special guest? No. So that will be recorded. I will be dropping it on the channel. So y'all just make sure I got the notification bell clicked. Let me just say this. I'm going to put a pin in Anthony Hitchens because there will be other cap casualties, other veteran linebackers, and we did the linebacker situation, I believe. Who was it for? Leighton Vander Esch. And there were a couple guys I was cool with, right? Like Quan Alexander. Quan didn't win a Super Bowl, but he fits that mold. So there's other veteran guys I would rather go after, but I would definitely keep Anthony Hitchens' number just in case you strike out. Get a veteran guy like Hitch in the building. I'm not mad at that. I just wouldn't count on Hitch to be my guy because I definitely want to go the Micah Parsons, N'Kobe Dean, Devin Lloyd, any of these young buck routes with Jabril Cox, right? I want to go young route, but I don't want to deprive that room with zero veteran leadership in it. And then Jayron Kearse, like we talked about at the top of the show, he joined 105.3 The Fan about his 2021 and talked off and sound off. I'm sorry, about his 2021 season and Dan Quinn. Now, when he spoke about Dan Quinn, it made it sound like he was returning. When I say he, I mean Jayron Kearse. This is a quote from Jayron from that interview. And we'll play a couple different sound bites from Jayron from that interview. He says, getting Quinn back was a huge win, and it was one that was much needed. Just to try your best to keep this group together, because the strides we've made in year one, here's the part, it can give us a lot of upside going into year two with guys being together. Guys having camaraderie with each other. That's the number one win so far this offseason. Okay, Jayron. Okay. Not going to lie. I didn't expect him to come out there and include himself in the Cowboys happenings this offseason as if he's already part of the organization for 2022. I like to hear it. To me, that shows that. I mean, I figured he wanted to come back and everything like that. But again, we have to operate under Catboy. And you wonder if he played himself out of that range. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, again, I don't like to use the grades too often. Stats are great, projections, things like that. And I'm using their free agency projections right now, which, by the way, they have him ranked as the 7th best free agent safety this offseason. And there are a lot of good ones at the top, and we'll get to a few of those, but I'll list 3 later on in the show, Catboy ones. But if you look at his cap projection, it's really not a lot. So if they're anywhere close to that, the Cowboys should be able to bring back Jayron Kearse, right? But anyway, Jayron Kearse's ascension to being a top player on the Cowboys defense in reality was mostly about opportunity. And Jayron actually talked about that on, like I said, 105 through the Fan when he spoke with Shannon RJ. So I'm going to go ahead and play that audio, actually, so you guys can hear what he said about getting that opportunity here in Dallas that he didn't really have anywhere else.
For me, it was just opportunity. I mean, you can, through my previous 5 years, if you turn the tape on, the opportunities that I did have, I played good football. But, it was never a week in, week out thing where it was constantly Jayron Kearse on the field. So, it was just the fact that I was able to get that opportunity every week. It wasn't a week where the opportunity went away or the opportunity increased. I had the same exact opportunity throughout the year, and, I was able to produce and such. So, for me, it was the opportunity and also just the belief from everybody in the building and me also knowing I can do it, me also having that confidence. And like I said, the belief from the coaches and my teammates that, I can get the job done at a very high level.
Yeah. The opportunity definitely was one he did not have in his previous stops with Detroit and Minnesota. So to understand, what the opportunity meant to him, you kind of got to understand his history. He played 4 seasons, I believe, in Minnesota, 4 or 5 seasons, and then 1 season in Detroit. And in those 5 previous years, he started a combined 12 games. He was mostly a special teamer in Minnesota. In fact, he never played more than 271 snaps with the Vikings and only 200 snaps twice. Ironically, in 2019, he made the game-winning Hail Mary interception against the Cowboys, if you guys remember that. It was Hail Mary time. They threw it up, I think, to Blake Jarwin, and then they said, hey, big boy, 6'4", go back there and knock this thing down. He ended up picking it off. Now, again, I'm very biased to guys like Jayron Kearse because I like the size, 6'4", about 215, 220 pounds, just a big dude. And I look at that as a prototypical hard-hitting big safety. But what made Jayron so good this year is that he was versatile in what he did. He's still only 28 years old, a 7th-round pick out of Clemson. And again, he started a career-high 15 games this season with 101 tackles, 9 tackles for loss. You could just see it in the basic stats how versatile he was. 101 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, 2 picks, and a sack. That's not even the advanced statistics that go even deeper. Now, like I talked about earlier, his contract projection is not high. I was actually shocked to see PFF have it this low. He's projected per PFF 3 years, $15 million, $8.25 million guaranteed, which obviously comes out to $5 million APY average per year. Sign me the hell up. I mean, come on, Cowboys Nation. If that's what it's going to take to get Jayron, lock him down now. We don't even let him hit free agency. Now, yesterday we briefly talked about, will there be a Cowboys tax for Jayron? Will there be a, hey man, I'm not just your safety, right? I'm not just your box guy. I'm not just a dude who's just going to float around a box and just make tackles against running backs. I do a lot of things. Professor O said Jayron set the tone in that Falcons game when he wrecked Gage early on. Sure as hell did. We got Boss Man Fat in the building. Shout out to you. He says his picks were real picks too. He made some constant plays. Yeah. So Jayron not only covered tight ends and did all this and came in a box, played deep. He did a lot of things for Dallas, including the green dot. And it became a revelation about the green dot, I believe, around the Minnesota Viking game. And I believe it was Ryan Clark who actually brought it up. I didn't catch it. No one else really caught it. The writers in Dallas didn't catch it. But Ryan Clark had caught it. And he had this to say about why Micah had that great game. And he credited Jayron Kearse. Take a listen.
RC, you noticed a very minor detail that had a major impact with this Cowboys team against the Vikings. What was that?
It was Jayron Kearse is now the play caller. He's the green dot. Yeah. Listen, I played a lot of ball, and I was the captain of 2 different teams. They never gave me the green dot. I'm actually jealous. Now, what this did was let Micah Parsons be free. Let Micah Parsons not think. This is the best he's played from the inside linebacker position. Micah Parsons got to bring this thing back to park ball, right? Run and hit. Jayron Kearse is a guy that was leading this team in tackles coming into the game, but he's a journeyman throughout his career. Imagine the respect you have to have garnered from this offseason to this point to be the guy standing in front of the huddle. And if you look at this team before this game, they gave up a ton of yards, but they were opportunistic. This defense was stingy.
RC, you know.
Yeah. And I love what he said about imagine the respect you had to have in that locker room to get the green dot. As a new guy, right? As a guy that wasn't even brought here to be the starter. And we talked about this yesterday. Donovan Wilson actually gifted us Jayron Kearse because of his injury. A lot of things kind of fell Cowboys' way defensively. You had the DeMarcus Lawrence injury that kind of gifted us Micah Parsons rushing a passer. And then Donovan Wilson getting dinged up that gifted us Jayron Kearse. So, if it's me, I prioritize this man higher than any free agent the Cowboys have. And I don't even think that's a hot take. You could argue Randy Gregory. We talked about this before weeks ago. I think they're 1-2 or they're 1A, 1B. But if you put a gun to my head and say, Sky, pick one, I think it's Jayron because I said this earlier in the season or mid-season, whatever. He is your second most versatile player. And you could argue, this is no disrespect to Mike, you could argue most versatile. And what I mean is Micah can do a lot of things great. He doesn't do the versatile things at a high level like Micah, at the highest level. Micah can rush a passer. He can play linebacker at the elite level. But Jayron's going to cover a tight end. He's going to cover a wide receiver. He's going to play deep. He's going to play in the box. He's going to play big nickel. He's playing linebacker. He's blitzing. He's playing literally everywhere. And he's calling the plays. You know how hard that is? Most linebackers calling the plays in the middle of the field. They don't have a bunch of different responsibilities. Most safeties, if they're doing it, which isn't normal, is likely going to be your middle of the field guy. It's likely going to be your center fielder, your free safety. Keep everything in front. Here's here, here's there. I keep everything in front of me. My DeMonte KZs. Jayron has to do everything and make sure all y'all's in the right spot. So I just think he's so integral to what Dan Quinn does, or what he does now at least. And he is your second most important defensive player. Some might even argue your most important, but I definitely think he's your second most important defensive player behind Micah Parsons. I don't think that's a hot take. I just think that's real. Iceberg Q said Kearse and RG need to be back. Professor O, Kearse over RG in terms of priority, and it's not even close for me. I listen, man. It's definitely Jayron for me. Tom said the green dot's going to cost $1 to put on your helmet. Jayron going to say $1 million, but this is the contract projection. 3 years, $15 million. We talked about it about a week or so ago that I think Kearse deserves to be given that $6 million threshold, and they came in under it. So I was thinking if I'm going to give Kearse the $6 million per year threshold, I'm willing to go over it a few, $8 million possibly. I'm willing to do that. But if I can get him for $5 million per year, all day and tomorrow, just don't go the Ken Hamlin route, right? Remember when Ken Hamlin had a breakout year, they signed him to that ridiculous contract. I wouldn't want to go that far. Iceberg Q said, Kearse is so dependable, sure tackler, and green dot guy. Yeah, he better not leave. He actually talked about his tackling with Shannon RJ, stating that they asked him, do you know how many tackles you missed? Right away, he said 4. Kearse has been a short tackler his entire career. He's your best tackler on the team, and I think one of the best tacklers in the NFL. Just a standout player, man. Just a standout player. Steve said, no, Sky Glad you are not the Jerry. If that's the projections, pay the man. Yeah. Absolutely. So I also want to play the audio from 105 through the fan where Jayron talked about covering tight ends. And you can kind of hear how he studies these guys, how he breaks them down. And this came about because he posted a tweet. He said, go look up anybody that's covered these tight ends and then come back to me. Go watch the tape, essentially, without saying. He pulled a Jalen without really saying what Jalen said, which is watch the tape. But he said, go pull up the statistics. And he's not lying. Jayron Kearse is one of the best guys covering tight ends. But listen to his explanation. It's a bit lengthy, so I'll play some all 22 behind it. But I thought it was a fantastic interview and a fantastic response to the question. So take a listen.
You tweeted, no other safety goes toe-to-toe with every tight end week in and week out. So I went down the Cowboys' schedule this year, and I just want your quick scouting report on a couple of these guys and prepping or playing them. And let's start off with a playoff game going up against Kittle.
Kittle, definitely electric for our tight end. Much better at blocking than a lot of tight ends and receiving. You don't get a lot of tight ends that can do both. You either got a pass catcher or you got a run blocker. And, Kittle is a guy that once he gets the balls in his hands, it's always a chance that it's a touchdown. But also, when turning the tape on and watching them, as well as a lot of other tight ends, guys are playing timid. Guys are playing scared. For me, I actually trained with a tight end that I played against. And I asked him, I said, did you guys know I was going to cover the tight end? He said, yeah. And the number one thing we knew was you were going to get hands on. A lot of guys, when they're playing these Darren Wallers, these Kelseys, they want to get off the ball. They want to back up. I don't believe, anyone loves getting hands put on them before they even get into their route. So, watching the tape, that's the number one thing I want to see is how does he react when he's getting pressed? How does he react when a guy's getting hands on him from the start? And, I go into every week where, I know what they like to do. They know what I like to do. Now it's all about the mentality, and it's all about who can get to who first. And, I go in and I give them exactly what they've seen on film, and if you can beat that, then it's time to throw something else at you. But off top, I'm going in and I'm doing what I'm good at doing, and, hopefully it works out for me. Majority of the time it has.
Majority of the time it has. He's right, man. I thought, again, I urge you guys to go listen to Jayron speak. Very, very intelligent football player. And I thought he played well against most of the tight ends this year. He wasn't Byron. Remember Byron Jones' rookie year? They threw Byron on anybody. And Byron pretty much had shut everybody down. But for the most part, I mean, Jayron Kearse was a dependable guy you can put on your tight end, which allowed you to play a Malik Hooker in a certain role or a Donovan Wilson in a certain role. So, getting him back would be immense. It would be huge. And not only just because of the green dot stuff, but what he does with his skill set. Hey, I see we got a Raider fan in the building. Shout out to you, Raider fan. But yeah, Darren Waller definitely had a good game that game. I'm not going to deny that until he got hurt. But we're talking about totality, brother. I understand you're a Raider fan, so all you're going to go through is the Raider game. But overall, Jayron Kearse all season was really damn good against a lot of these tight ends and allowed Dan Quinn, Micah Parsons, right? Malik Hooker, guys like that to play their role and do different things. So we got to definitely prioritize bringing this guy back. By the way, if you do want to call in on this, 351-999-3787. If you do call in, we can't be forever today. Like I said, we're going to try to breeze through this thing, but you still can. 351-999-3787. Stephen White said he was awesome to listen to, humble and good people. Yeah, that's why I say I urge you guys to go check him out. Go check that interview out, man. Really, really good interview. I mean, he did regular interviews during the season with the beat reporters, and I thought I actually featured a few of them here. And I thought, man, I could listen to J-Rock, as what my guy Koye calls him. I could listen to him talk all day. All day. All right, so let's move forward here in a second towards, and I feel like somebody's coming in here. Yeah, you are. After this call, we'll move forward to a couple of Catboy free agent types that could come into Dallas. Again, you got to put the Catboy hat on. We're not putting the fan hat on. We could talk about that at the end of the Catboy guys, but we have to operate. Who are the guys that the Catboy could bring in? So give us a few minutes here and we'll be into that. But we got Reek on the horn. What's up, Reek?
Hey, what's going on, Scott?
There we go.
How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Jam-packed day today.
Yeah, man. You like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff, man. This guy's the best. Yo, man. All I got to say is Micah Parsons want him back. Dan Quinn, he want him back, too. So Steven got to get his manager skills on, make this cap work. You know what I mean? He always talking money. He always trying to be cheap. You know what I mean? But my whole thing is, I think Jayron Kearse will come back for the right price. You know what I mean? Grease his palms a little bit because he is a big impact on our defense. He's our Chandler of our defense. You know what I'm saying? But just a versatile Chandler. You know, like Dan Quinn had in Seattle. My thing is
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. That's what I meant to say. Chancellor. Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam. Yeah. I mean, technically, I know the size is what they'll get compared to, but if you talk about what they meant to the defense, the heart and soul, I do think that Kearse was kind of the rock of the defense, where Micah was the diamond, Kearse was the rock.
Yeah, but see, I feel like Kearse allowed the cornerbacks to play freely. They didn't always have to worry about the ball going over their head too damn much.
No, that wouldn't be Kearse.
Contesting it.
That wouldn't be Kearse. That would be KZ. KZ was the deep guy. Kearse played more in the box than he did back deep.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying like the thing I'm saying is that I think Kirk gave them confidence to where it's like they was confident enough to where it's like you got AB out there jumping passes and Diggs jumping passes. They wasn't really the only person that was really jumping passes the year before was
Yeah, see,
Diggs.
I don't think that's
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Go ahead though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my thing is like this. Yeah, KZ, he was doing his thing, but he started getting burnt at the end of the year.
Yeah, but see, I can't. But, and I don't mean to be nitpicky like this. Kearse is not the reason why those dudes was jumping passes, brother. That's all I'm saying. Like that's not his role. His role wasn't to play behind the corners. So I don't know how they could give him confidence if he's playing in front of the corners. You know what I mean? So I think Dan Quinn is more responsible, and Joe Witt is more responsible for the aggressive nature of our cornerbacks than Jayron Kearse. I think Jayron Kearse was the heart and soul period of the defense that allowed everybody to kind of just play a little bit above their weight because he's their leader. He was their leader.
Gotcha. Well, my thing is like this, man. Let's get this team stronger. Let's sign some of these dudes back, and let's go out here and draft and get some of these free agents. You know what I mean? That we can afford. That's going to fit our system, and definitely beef up that offensive line and that defensive line. I mean, please. You know, I'm just tired of people running down our damn throats. You know, go get us another big boy, and I'm hoping Bohanna's second year be better. You know what I mean? I hope we like to hear Vot say, go get some of that peanut butter, sandwich.
I was just about to say that.
And
off-season peanut butter.
Start clogging up that damn middle for us to where it's like, you know, people they're not gonna be running on us like you got to pass. And,
I got two solutions
really
for you in that draft: Jordan Davis and Travis Jones. Those are two solutions for you right there. Early though.
And you know how happy I'll be, man. I'll probably run down the street screaming, man, like, oh my God.
I would too.
But I really believe Brett Urban. That was a big blow for us, man. Because I really believe San Fran wouldn't have been able to run on us if Brett Urban was in the middle. You know what I mean? Clogging up the middle. And I really believe that was one of the big reasons Debo got off like that. But, you know, I got faith in Dan Quinn. I got faith that the Joneses are going to listen to Dan Quinn and what he wants on this defense, what he think going to help this defense go to the next level. So I'm with it, man.
That's a good point right there, Reek. In years past, I wanted Rod Marinelli far away from the draft room. For whatever reason, he was given a lot of say. But Dan Quinn, I mean, his resume speaks for himself. What you want, Dan? You know, this is the type of situation where whatever Dan wants, you should let him pick it because, you know, I'm not saying he picked Micah, but he helped elevate Micah. And then I do think the rest of those picks were kind of Dan Quinn picks. I don't know about Boss Man. I'm not sure. But I do know that third round was a Dan Quinn special. That fourth round was a Dan Quinn special. So, you know, for me, I'm like, yo, Dan Quinn, what you want?
Yeah. Let them get a couple picks in, man, and they go from there. And, you know, let them get the rest from there. But get that man a couple good picks, man, because I really believe he has an eye for talent. You know what I mean? And everywhere that he, like, since he left Atlanta, he's been helping with the talent. He got a lot of good players, you know. But, yeah, man, let's do it, Cowboy Nation, man. You know, still believe, man, still strive to be number one, man.
All right, bro.
I'm going to holler at y'all, man.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's go ahead and transition into some of these Catboy free agents. Let me make sure I got this visual up right, y'all. But yeah, I would definitely allow Dan Quinn to have just as much say as Rob Marinelli did. And he probably does already. You know, like I said, those picks, getting Golston and Osa and those guys, I think those were Dan Quinn picks. So, and I thought you saw what Osa Odighizuwa could do. I think year 2 jump could look really good if he remains healthy. Golston, we'll see. With Golston, he showed some flashes, and then once DeMarcus Lawrence came back, he pretty much went back to being a guy who wasn't going to play a whole ton. So I'll let Dan Quinn get more say than Rod, honestly. All right, let's transition over here to some of the possible Catboy free agents. Now, again, for those who don't know, and you're probably like, whoa, wait a minute, man. You got Tyrann Mathieu out there. Slow down. We will have time to operate in that fantasy land of being a Cowboy fan. But right now, we're keeping it real. And sometimes when you keep it real, it don't look too great. But the Cowboy criteria, if you do not know, are they injured or have they been injured? Check. Are they on the right side of 30? Are they cheap? Have they shown some talent? Have to have a combination of those things right there. That would be the Catboy criteria. With the flashing, blinking red light of injured being pretty much number one. That guy right there, Deshaun Elliott, he fits the Catboy criteria verbatim. Deshaun Elliott's 24 years old, 6'1", 210-pound safety, do-it-all type safety for the Ravens. Drafted, I believe, in 2018. Missed his entire rookie year. Actually missed time last year. A lot of time. He tore his pec and his bicep in week 9 of the regular season. So he's a hurt guy. Been a hurt guy his whole career. Missed his rookie year. Went on IR in 2019 with the knee injury. Last year, tore his pec. In 2020, though, it all came together and he started 16 games. Now, this is what PFF has to say about Deshaun Elliott. He carried the task of trying to cover an injured and thin secondary, but he's capable enough to fulfill his responsibilities playing middle of the field or dropping over tight ends. He's a safety that can fill a hole in the secondary. Again, he started 22 games last 2 seasons before tearing his pec and his bicep, and they have his contract projection, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year, $5.25 million. So you're looking at about a contract that they paid Keanu Neal for. Elliott reminds me, not talent-wise, but situational, of the Malik Hooker situation, right? A guy that has talent, has shown that talent, but he's been a hurt guy his whole career. And I think that all comes together to be a Catboy special. So if you don't bring back a guy like J-Rock, or even if you do, I think Deshaun Elliott could be a target for Stephen Jones. I could see something like that happening. So even if you do resign Jayron Kearse, I think he could play alongside of Kearse in that Malik Hooker type of role where we call it the sphere role, where he's everywhere. He's not just a deep center guy. So there's one Catboy special. The other Catboy special is DeAndre Houston Carson. Another, who was this guy? Now, Deshaun Elliott's more, if you follow the league, he's way more known than a DeAndre Houston Carson. But DeAndre Houston Carson, 6-foot guy, 22 pounds, 6-year veteran out of Chicago, right side of 30, 28 years old. He doesn't fit the injury mold, but he fits the I'm not a star guy. Don't have a lot of snaps. Played his most snaps this year, I think, 420 snaps, which resulted in the career year for Deshaun Houston Carson. This is what they have to say about him. Ideal still pick for defenses that use a lot of dime personnel. Houston Carson can handle tight ends and backs out the backfield, allowing your linebackers to get after quarterbacks to set up their disguise. I think they're really propping him up here, but for the most part, he's been a special teams type of guy with Chicago. Not a guy that you're going to rely on too much. Didn't start. In fact, he only started 3 games in 2021. But again, his market value, a veteran minimum deal. $1.7 million or something like that, under $2 million. Catboy special. And they do that. I mean, we literally just saw them. That's the thing. Just follow the easy tea leaves. We just saw them sign 3 veteran safeties, I think for less than a combined $5 million. It might have been less than $3 million. Jayron Kearse, Malik Hooker, DeMonte KZ, all signed for vet minimum type of deals. So he technically fits under that mold. But I think Deshaun Elliott would be a perfect fit in the sense of what Catboy likes. Real quick before I get to the final 2, let me see what you guys are saying about both of those guys. Oh, we're going to get to him, Professor O. Oh, we're going to get to him. Trust and believe me. Brian Russell says Hooker, so Malik Hooker. We're going to do a show on Malik. We'll feature Malik here soon. Now that we're done with the 2018 draft class, we'll get into some of the free agents that weren't drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. So there's a lot of those guys. And Malik Hooker's one. Jayron Kearse is one. I just thought Jayron Kearse deserved his own show. So that's what we're doing with J-Rock. And appreciate your time, Downey. He says Steven's looking at the USFL players right now. Oh, without a doubt, Roland. Jayron Kearse over all these guys. Yeah, that's without a shadow of a doubt. Steven, Freaks of Nature. Let me see here what else you guys are saying about these two guys. Another Malik Hooker for the low. All right. Then you got Ronnie Harrison, who, if you're a draft guy, if you're Alabama guy, you know who Ronnie Harrison is. Was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, I believe in 2018. I want to say 2018. Third round pick by the Jags. So he has the most pedigree of these guys. I don't even know if Houston Carson was drafted. I think Deshaun Elliott was a 6th round guy, and Ronnie was a 3rd round guy out of Alabama. Was traded by Jacksonville to Cleveland in 2020. This is what they're saying about Ronnie. Harrison should only be playing over tight ends and in the box against backs. A near prototypical down safety. He's coming off, I think, his worst season of his career. He allowed 7 touchdowns, and he only played 584 snaps. 7 touchdowns and 584 snaps is not good. Put it this way, Jayron Kearse played over 1,000 snaps, 3rd most on the team behind Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown, and he only allowed 2 tutties. One in week 1 they credited him for, and he did. He allowed it. And then they credited him for one against the Panthers. Other than that, no more tutties. This guy allowed 7 and 584 snaps. He can hit and he can tackle really well. Over his career, he doesn't miss too many tackles. But his coverage skills definitely took a hit last season. Before that, he only gave up 3 touchdowns in his previous 2 years. So I don't know about Ronnie in that case. He does have that size close to a Jayron Kearse, 6'3", 214 pounds. But Kearse is much more skilled and a much better player, in my opinion. At least he was in 2021. I mean, he couldn't show it prior to that. We talked about the opportunity. His contract projection, 1 year, $4.75 million. And if we're being honest, that 4.7 by Ronnie and that 5 point whatever by Deshaun Elliott, that's still maybe too much for Catboy. But I'd have to imagine they'll be willing to do a 1 year type of deal for that amount. So if I had to rank these guys, I would go Deshaun Elliott, Ronnie, and then DeAndre Houston Carson. And I still think that Deshaun Elliott could be signed regardless. I have faith in him with his talent at least and fit. And he has that Baltimore mentality, that Ravens mentality. Play with Wink Martindale, who allows you to go be a dog. And I'm all for bringing more dogs on this team. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the dude that got into it with Earl Thomas? I could be wrong, but I thought he's the one that got into it with Earl Thomas on the practice field. That essentially got him kicked off the team. Right? Now, let me get to in a second here the guy that I am super high on. My guy brought it up here, but I want to get back into the chat real quick to see what you guys got to say. Professor O said, keep in mind we had Kearse, Hooker, and KZ for less than $3 million. So that's what it was, for less than $3 million combined. Right. It's kind of wild when you think about it. And we went into the season and midseason saying, talent-wise, it's hard to really go back and find a more talented depth chart for the Cowboys at safety in the last decade. Like Hooker is talented. He showed it. Jayron Kearse showed his talent throughout the season, right? We know Donovan Wilson has talent. These guys don't have high pedigree aside from Hooker. And KZ led the league in interceptions 1 year and had a combined 10 interceptions in a 2-year span. And he wasn't horrible. I mean, KZ had his moments, but KZ, I thought, did his job. So from a talent standpoint, depth standpoint, I don't know that you can get that kind of depth again. But they were all prove-it deals. And sometimes what happens is You get a lot of guys on these prove-it deals, and somebody's going to hit. Here's the problem with Dallas, though. Not only did they sign a bunch of prove-it deals, they didn't extend any of their drafted guys over 17 and 18, specifically 18, and it allowed those guys to have career years. So that's where you're stuck here. Like, what do we do? But I think with Jayron, you absolutely bring Jayron back, without a doubt. Now, here's the guy that I am, if his projection is correct, I am all in on. Marcus May. Last year, when I was doing videos, free agency videos, which I love doing those type of videos, but now I do a daily morning show so I can bring it here. Marcus May and Marcus Williams were my two, and I think it was Justin Simmons, but we knew Simmons would get tagged or whatever. But all those guys ended up getting tagged. Marcus May was tagged last year, signed his free agency tag, but he injured himself. He played on the franchise tag, which was $10.6 million, but he injured his Achilles, I believe, mid-season. And I think that could make teams a little hesitant on signing Marcus May to a big money deal. But if those cap projections, which I'll read here in a second, are anywhere near close to what PFF is saying, which is 1 year, $6 million, essentially a prove-it deal, I am all in, period, on Marcus May. And he could do either one. He played free safety most of his career under Jamal Adams. And then when Jamal left, he played that strong safety role. And he was heralded as a leader there. He was their team captain. He was their do-it-all guy. And he kind of fits the Catboy criteria, Cowboys Nation. Hurt guy, talented, right side of 30, something to prove, cheap. 1 year, $6 million, easy. If you don't know who Marcus May is, just go look up Marcus May. One of the top safeties in the National Football League. There's other guys that are free agents this year that I think Dallas will be out on, right? The Marcus Williams, who, again, I featured last year. One of the best, if not the best, free safety. I mean, you can argue with Justin Simmons, but he's top 3, top 4. Tyrann Mathieu, right? Honey Badger is Honey Badger. Would love to have him on the team. Quandre Diggs is interesting. Quandre Diggs tore his knee something at, I believe, last game of the year or towards the end of the season in a contract year. So he hit IR, obviously. And he was in line for a big deal. Now, they're projecting Quandre around something like $10 million. I think they're actually giving him a prove-it deal. No, so they're doing a 3-year, $10 million average per year. I think that would take him and price him out of Dallas. But if he gets the Marcus May type treatment, which is, hey, man, you injured yourself late in the season, don't know if you're going to be ready, which Marcus actually injured himself mid-season, maybe he gets on a prove-it deal. Regardless, if guys like Marcus May and Quandre Diggs are willing to come in here for a prove-it deal that's less than $8 million per year, you absolutely pick up the phone, Cowboys Nation. You pick up the phone. Because those guys can make a difference. I mean, can you imagine a Marcus May and Jayron Kearse duo? All right, let me chill because I like safety play. I'm a safety guy. I like safety. I'm big on it, but I also have to understand that we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys, right? Haven't drafted a safety in the top 3 rounds since 2012-ish, something like that. Haven't signed a free agent safety since like Gerald Sensenball, So, these guys don't really do much in the free agent capacity. But maybe, just maybe, the hope that I had last year was that Dan Quinn, who does value the safety position, maybe Dan Quinn could have a little bit more juice in that room in regards to the safety position. Maybe he can say, no, we need to bring this guy back. If it's going to cost you $8 million, it's going to cost you $8 million. Bring this guy back, man. Professor O said, I need a safe word when we talk safeties. We do. I get excited, man. I feel like it's one of the most disrespected positions in Dallas, at least. But when you go look at the Super Bowl rosters, usually there's a guy that's made a big difference at the safety position. Now, I don't know if you want to call Eric Weddle a difference maker, against the Rams team, but they did bring Eric Weddle on. He got the green dye, was a captain, things like that. But on the other side, you had Jesse Bates. Before that, Tyrann Mathieu. Before that, going back to 2017, to Malcolm Jenkins and obviously the Legion of Booms. I believe they had 2 safeties during the Denver Super Bowl run. Safety play matters, in my opinion. I don't care what the Cowboys front office believes. Safety play matters. And if you're going to continue to be cheap at it, you're going to continue to keep having to churn it over and churn it over. And being cheap doesn't mean just free agent. I'm saying addressing it in the draft as well. They've been extremely cheap in the draft. Jay said Kearse can easily go to another team and not have the production he had this past season due to scheme change. It fits Quinn. Scheme absolutely matters. If somebody if Kearse goes to think of a single high where he's playing free safety, which would be silly, but if he's playing free safety for 600 snaps, what are you doing? You're utilizing him wrong. Tom said, great question there. Who has even been the best safety Dallas has had since Woody? Well, I think that's easy, right? That'd be Roy Williams. I think that one is a little. I would say who's the best safety since Roy? Barry? If we're talking about being here more than 1 year. You could argue Jayron had a top 2 or 3 production year in Dallas. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm almost positive Sensabaugh had like a 5 interception year or something like that. But I would say Roy. So I would say who's the best safety since Roy in Dallas? I mean, you're talking about Barry Church. Sensabaugh would have to be up there. Other than that, I mean, we're talking like Alan Balls and what are we doing? Xavier Woods. There just haven't been Jeff Heath. And all these guys are 6-round picks, undrafted guys, 1 year, free agent guys. None of them have been, high drafted dudes. Now, I wouldn't say Ken had that 1 year. I'm trying to think about if I'm talking about a guy that's been here had more than one good season, I'd go with Barry Church. I'd say Barry Church was our best safety after Roy. And I don't think that's a crazy take either. Y'all keep on throwing this Jeff Heath out there if y'all want. You can put the Jeff Heath out there if you want. J.J. Wilcox delivered the boom. I tell you that. He was a hard-hitting dude. I actually like J.J. Wilcox in the role, which to me, again, if you go look at what I said about Deshaun Elliott and the safety position in general, even yesterday when we talked about Donovan Wilson, they're going to bring in a guy. There's not enough. There's only 2 safeties in the room right now. So if it's not Jayron, somebody's coming in here because they usually use 3 safeties. Jeff Heath, when he was here, J.J. Wilcox. Last year, obviously, with all the safeties that they had. So somebody's coming in here if it's not Jayron. But it absolutely should be Jayron Kearse because, I mean, look at that cap projection. That's easy. Yeah, B702 said Allen Ball don't remind me, bro. I'm telling you, man, it was a lot of, and it still is a lot of churning at that position. A lot of churning. Trying to see if you guys got any more. It's crazy because we really just listed every safety in Dallas post Roy Williams. And how impressed are you? I would have to go look. This could be a research project I do just for me because I'm a safety nerd across the league. As another team went through a safety drought of this magnitude since Roy. And again, I'm not disrespecting my boy Barry because that's my guy. When did Barry leave, y'all? 2016? That give us 5 years. We're going to go since Roy. How many teams really? And this is something I do in my off. How many teams have went since what? 2006, 7, whatever it is. Roy left 7, 8, 9, whatever it was. Since then to 2022 of not having. I don't even know we had a Pro Bowl. a Pro Bowl safety or caliber type safety, longevity, the talent, whatever. How many? Has there been another team that has had that drought? Have we had a Pro Bowler, y'all? Now I'm curious. Barry never made the Pro Bowl. No, Jeff Heath ain't make the Pro Bowl. We know Xavier Woods ain't make the Pro Bowl. Jayron should have made the Pro Bowl. I'll say that. But I don't even think there's been a Pro Bowl safety. If I'm missing it, y'all let me know. That's crazy. And when did our guy leave? When did our guy leave? Because this is making me real. Hamlin made it, but Hamlin was 07. Was Roy gone? Oh, Pat Watkins. Damn, see that now you're going way back. Florida State guy. I really was rooting for Pat Watkins because I like the big safeties. He's like 6'5". I want to say Parcells years, right? Wasn't that Parcells? Yeah. Yeah, they definitely snubbed Jayron Kearse on that one, man. They definitely snubbed him. Stage says, does Malik Hooker come back? We'll get to it. We're going to break down Malik Hooker. We're going to break down the Brents. We're going to get to that group, right? That group. If not tomorrow, probably maybe sometime next week. We'll continue to break down the upcoming free agents because that's where we're trending to now. We're about to get to that window where you can start to sign your own guys. That's what I'm saying. Roy was here in 2007, so I can't recall. Ken Hamlin. So, yeah, I guess we could say since Ken. So, since Ken Hamlin, 07, when Roy was here, apparently, I don't think we've had a Pro Bowler. That's wild. And I believe and speaking of our division, every team in our division has had one, whether they brought one in or whether they made it on that team. So, keep thinking it don't matter to have one, Cowboys Nation. B702, Kearse says, he says, Kearse, 3 years, 15 mil. That's it. If that's the case, sign me up. They gave Barry 4 at 22. Are you talking about Cowboys or are you talking about the Jaguars? By the way, I was going to wait, but I might as well say it. Barry Church is actually who we're going to have on the channel here later to discuss more about Jayron Kearse, Malik Hooker, those guys, the safety position, and what to do about it. So make sure y'all hit that notification bell for later on this morning, or I'll maybe post it later on this afternoon. But we're going to get Barry on. Try to get him onto the show. Couldn't quite get it there, so we're going to go ahead and bring him on later to discuss more Barry. I've had this discussion with Barry Church about, his contract a number of times. He's been on the show here with A to Z before. We had him on a few times prior to it. I think we had him on twice with the hype. I had him on once myself. So, I'm in constant communication with him. When things like this come up, I want to pick his brain. So this is one of those days I'm like, hey, man, perfect timing. Kearse is talking. We need safety play. Safety play better than anybody. So want to get your 2 cents on things. So make sure y'all stick around for Barry. That's my PA brother. Brandon said Wilcox was taught to play the way he did back at Georgia Southern. Wilcox played 1 year at Georgia Southern at safety. That was why it was mind-blowing to me. You drafted this man, a former running back, in the 3rd round. Like, what are you doing? Man, y'all, now we naming them all. We just having fun now. Owusu Ansah. Shout out to IUP. I was rooting for Owusu Ansah. I believe it's a Quasi Owusu Ansah because he went to IUP. PSAC school, and yes, somebody asked, did I go to Edinburgh? Yes, I went to Edinburgh University. I was rooting hard as hell for Owusu Ansah. It didn't work. Rodney Poole, oh my God, y'all killing me, man. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. Ruben, move Diggs to safety. He has a safety mentality. No, Ruben. I'm not moving my all-pro cornerback to safety. Have you seen him tackle? I'm just saying, have you seen him tackle? And if you put him at free safety, you're pretty much taking him out the picture of potentially being that kind of playmaker. Because the way this free safety position is played with Dan Quinn, I need you to be the last man back. Keep everything in front. He'll have his opportunities, but I'd rather them keep Trayvon Diggs at cornerback and let him continue to develop as one of the top young cornerbacks in the NFL. So you see what he did as a guy who's only played the position for 4 years. Now we want to move him to another position? Nah, I'm good. Iceberg Cube. Haha, Clinton Dix didn't even make it out of training camp. He ain't make it out of training camp. But it didn't have nothing to do with talent. I remember that specifically. Had a couple conversations with a couple players. That was a whole Mike Nolan situation. Shout out to Danny McCray too. Special teams ace. He had some years, a year or two, where he was counted on to play more than he probably should have. LSU alum Danny McCray, man. Him and Barry Church are now with the Dallas Cowboys podcast crew. Yeah. But all right, this is actually perfect timing to wrap up the show. That way I can kind of get this stuff together for Barry so that you guys can get a quality interview later on here whenever I drop it here on the channel. So make sure y'all, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and it's very important you hit the notification bell. A lot of people, they hit me up, hey, I don't get the notifications. Listen, YouTube is YouTube. I'm not sure why they do it. I'm not sure if it's the case on Facebook, but if it's not the case on Facebook, then cool, y'all good. Just hit that notification bell, and later on we'll drop the Barry Church interview talking about Jayron Kearse. We'll get into some Malik Hooker too, KZ, that whole entire room, and see what his opinion is on Jayron moving forward. All right. With that said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and press this button so we can get on up out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your beautiful Wednesday. By the way, later tonight, we got the round table. The big dogs, Law Nation, Bosh Lombardi, Koye Media, myself, Foots the King, all coming together to talk Dallas Cowboys football later tonight. That'll be on one of their channels, if not all of them. So make sure y'all tune into that and check out A to Z Sports Prime Time, 8 p.m. Central tonight for my guy, Mauricio Rodriguez. We out of here. Love you. Peace. Shout out to the mod guys in the building.
I want me some glory hole.